Okay. So in this session, in this video, we will be discussing SCD type 2. Okay. So what is SCD type 2? Updating the data with current information and also maintaining the history. So that we will be calling it as a SCD type 2. Okay. So here, for example, if you see a customer, okay, so here SCD type 1 we have this SCD type 2. So here whenever customer moved from one location to another location, so here we should not overwrite the existing record. So here every time we have to create a new record. For the existing record, we have to close with end date as yesterday's date. Okay. So here I will be adding two new columns. Okay. So what are those new columns? Start date strt start. Okay, I need to reduce the font. Start date and end date. Okay. Record indicator. Okay. So this particular person starting start date. Let's do starting of this year 01/01. Okay. So up to yesterday is stayed here. Okay. For example, up to yesterday 2024. Try to understand this. So 07 and what is yesterday 22nd. And record indicators. Okay. So here the same person. Okay. So here the location starting from today 2024/01/07, sorry 07/23 and 2024. I mean, if it is a current location is the active location. Okay, so here the end date will be the future date. Okay, so future date in the sense 9999 December 31st. Okay, record indicator is one. Okay, for inactive records, the record indicator will be will give it as 0. Okay, wherever record indicator is 1, those are active records. Okay. And if you see another record, 2024/07/23. Okay. So if you see this, let me increase this font size. Now it's synced, right? Now approximately it's matching. Okay. So if you see this data, one second, let me delete this. Updating. Updating. Okay. So updating the system with latest latest data and maintaining the history. Okay. So if you see here, ID number 11, initially he was in New York. Now he moved to Dallas. Okay. So from which year, which date to which date he was in New York? Starting of this year. Okay. So that is the system entry date. Okay. So now up to yesterday, he was there in New York. From today onwards, he was in new place. That is Dallas. Okay. And similarly, 22, Jack. Earlier he was in Dallas up to yesterday. Now we move to India. So here we are maintaining current data as well as historical data. So how we need to identify which is the active location. So wherever the end date is the future date, wherever end date is having the future date, so that will be considered as a active record. And record indicator is one, and end date as future dates. So normally default future date will maintain is 9999 December 31st. Okay. So here initially, if you see this logic, okay. So I will I will tell you with an example. Okay. So here remove these two records. So for the first time when the data is entered, okay. So here it has future date 9999 December 31st, and record indicator will be one. After changes happen, okay. Okay, so after changes happen, 9999 December 31st. 19 is missing here. Okay. So current, this is the active record. Active. So yesterday he changed the location. So when he changed the yesterday's location, so here we have to replace this with this entry. Okay. And here end date has to be absolute. So what is meant by end date? End date will be yesterday's date. Yesterday we have to close the. So he was not there. He is moved to new location. Okay. So that is 01. Okay. Sorry, 23. Okay, yesterday's date. Okay. So here the record indicator will be setting as 0, and this will be the current active location. This one, this record, this particular record. Okay. So let's do the same exercise for the jack as well. So here we are entering the entries like this, but how we can design a data stage job? Okay. So we are 0, test converted as active. So 2023 hyphen 0723. Okay. So here, if you see wherever record indicator is 1, that are active records. Wherever record indicators are 0, that is old records. Okay. So here we are maintaining current and history in SCD type 2. Okay. So now let's design a job. Okay. So are you able to follow till now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So basically, these concepts are very important. Normally, there is no data stage project without SCD, slow data raising project without slowly changing dimension. Okay. So interview, they will ask compulsory this question actually. So how we can implement SCD type 2. Okay. So you have to watch this recording session again and again. Okay. Until you get clear understanding, clear picture of it. Now let's design a job. So here, how we can design a job? First, we have to compare the data between source and data mart table. So data mart table in the sense data warehouse table, DWH table. Okay. So here the comparison purpose, what we need to do, we need to compare source data and existing CDC data. What is the approach? What is the solution? So here the solution is we have to consider source file or a table. Okay, and we have to compare with the data mart table by using which stage. So yesterday we have discussed this. Which stage?
Change capture.
Yes, change capture. CDC, change data capture. Change data capture. Okay, change data capture. Okay. Now let's see the job. Okay, let's design the job. Okay. So here we have to create the table first. Okay. Mm. So here this is the source data. Okay, and this is the data mart table data. So here this table is deleted actually. These are the columns. We need to create the table first. Okay. So let's create the table. So this is the select statement. So create table. Okay, so table name will be customer dimension type 2. Okay, so let's use ID teacher first name. Okay, so I'll share this table script also. You can create the table. And the next one is varchar. So how much will give the length? Let's give 20. We can, yeah, let's give 20. Okay, and the customer location. Okay, so location also you can give varchar 20. Okay, and start date strt date. So it's a date column. Okay, so now need to mention the date, end date, end date, date. Okay. Hmm. And record indicator. TV. Okay, so this is the table. Okay, So I will be thinking in the chat box. So if any one of you can post it in the group. Let's execute this. Okay. So the table has been created. Okay. So the table has been created. So now let's design. So here yesterday, in yesterday's session, we have used CDC stage. Okay. So this is the before data. Sorry, this is the after data, the file. And this one is the data that is coming from already. I mean, it is in the dimension table. It is in the data warehouse table. Okay. So even if it is initial load when there is no data, so that will be considered as the initial load. Okay. All the records will go to inserts. So now double click on CDC stage. So here customer ID, customer name, location. Okay. So here data warehouse table data 2020 is there. And after one also 20. So here length is given. Okay. So two they have given length. Okay. Fine. Then give three. Then give three here. Okay. So you need to see the linking order. Okay, yesterday we have all discussed all these options. So for SCD type 2, we are focusing on only edit and update records. Okay, edit, update, and insert records. Edit, update means only one, right? Update and insert records. Drop and copy, we are ignoring this. And linking order, we need to check, which is a before always data mart or data warehouse table data. And after one is always data that is coming from source. Okay. So here you can see the mapping. Now click on OK. So here I use transformer. What might be the reason I use transformer here? Any idea, guys?
Change code
Hmm?
to check the change code.
Correct. What is the purpose of checking the change code?
To determine whether it is insert or update.
Correct. We have to identify which is a update record, which is a insert record. Okay. So let me save as this job. So exercise 66. Click on save. So up to yesterday, I have uploaded all the DXS file in our drive. Okay. Now let's see here. In the transformer, what I'm doing here. So I want to do the absolute. What is meant by absolute? So close the transaction, like making the records as inactive. Okay. So for that purpose, I'm taking all the records which are only edit into one file. Okay. And this change records also has to insert as a new record, right? If the record has been closed, I mean location has been changed, and the same person we have moving to the new location. So that details also we have to enter as a new record. So for that purpose here I have allowed all the updates and inserts in another file. Only updates in one output file, updates and inserts in another output file. Okay. So here you can see the mapping here. Customer ID, name and location. Okay. Now click on OK. Okay. So now let's run this job. Before that, let's see this data. So this is, let's let's do one thing. Let's use this file first. Okay. In the next run, we will change the file. Okay. So yesterday also we have done the same. Okay. No need to give the length. Okay. Click on OK. Now run the job. So did you understand this design? What we are doing here? So how many of you not understood? So if you don't understand, I can explain you one more time.
Explain more times.
Explain one more.
One more. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So here what we are doing is the main purpose of designing this job is we are comparing the data between data variation table versus source data. Okay. So what is our source data? Source file is this one. So this is the source file. Okay. So at present, this is the source file. And data various data, just now here we have created the table. Okay. So if you reconnect this is the table that we have created, customer dimension type 2. Okay. So here there is no data. When there is no data at the initial load, all the records which are in their source, that will go to insert. Okay. In the next job, there is an update job and insert job. There what happens? It will update the records. Okay, it will insert as a fresh records. Okay, if there is any updates, so that will the first update will happen. And once updates are done, then we have to insert. So that is the process. Okay. So now we are identify by using change data capture stage, we have getting the change code. So in the change code here in the stage, what we are doing here, we are focusing only update records, which is of edit, I set it to false. Insert, I have set it to false. Copy and delete records, I'm setting a drop, but we are for SCD type 2. Okay, so here edit and insert are the main. Delete records and copy records, already data is there, but no action need to be taken. So that purpose, I have set it to drop here. Okay. Now click on OK. And here I'm separating the records. I'm using transformer stage. You can use filter also. Okay. So if you want to do some pass the default values, some validations if you want to perform. In that scenario, you can use transformer stage. Only the filter is the main criteria. Then we can use filter stage. Okay. So generally we'll use transformer stage because there are some default values that needs to be passed. Okay. So now let's run this job and see. Some failure has happened. What is that failure? Oh, authentication issue. Okay. So what are that authentication we have to use?
Insert to a grant.
Grant permissions. So we have done long back. Yeah. So copy this. You have to save this somewhere. Okay. So anyway, I am daily uploading the running notes into Drive. Okay. So what is the table name here? This one. Copy this. Then you have to execute every step. Okay. So now copy all these things. And you can paste it here. Again, you have to execute one by one. Okay. Now let's run. Now see, when the failed job in designer, what we can do, we have to compile and run. Okay. So if you try to run, it won't allow actually. Okay. Now run the job. Okay. So here all the records gone to insert this one. Okay. Now let's see the next job. So the next job is the update one. So here the input here you can see SCD type 2. SCD type 2 update. So that will be the input here in the update job. So in the update job, what you are doing here? Okay, so here we need to update two entries, end date and record indicator as 0. End date as yesterday's date. So here I used the current date. Okay, in the SQL statement, we will use current date minus 1. Okay, so location we are not passing here. So existing record, which as of end date, has to be set it as a previous date and record indicator as 0. So here, that is the reason here integer I have passed as a default value 0. It's very simple to pass 0. Okay, so here end date I am setting as a current date. How we will set a current date? By going here, go to functions, date functions, current date. That's it. Okay. So here I used key columns as customer ID and customer name. Okay, so let's discuss this job. Okay, so here we are using update. We are updating the data. Let's discuss this update statement. Okay, So what is this update statement? We are updating customer dimension table 2 and end date as this is the DB2 syntax where current date minus 1, the day. So that will be considered as previous date. Previous day means the before the yesterday's date. And record indicator, we are setting it as 0, whatever it is passing from the data stage of that is 0 we are passing, right? So that will be get updated. So update table name set end date as current date minus 1. So that means yesterday's date, and record indicator we are passing it as 0. And these are the three things has to be satisfied. So here we need to set the for only the active records. Okay. And customer ID and customer name should match. Okay, so this is the update statements. So did you get this update statement? Are you able to follow? So why we have to give this end date as 9999 December 31st? That is the active record. Those are active record, right? So only the active records only we have to convert into inactive records. Already records which are already inactive. Okay, so here if you try to do the update means everything will be data will be messed up. Okay, only the active records we have to convert as a inactive records. So here active, how we can identify the active records? By setting up this end date will be the end date will be the future date. Okay. Are you getting? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's click on OK. So now save as this particular job. $67. Okay. Save as this. Since there is no records, right, in the update file, let's see this. Do you have any records here? So there is no data. Okay. For at least for insert, we have some data. Okay, so now what you can do? Compile and run. Save, compile and run. Okay. Click on run. Okay. So here this update statement also, I'm copy pasting in the chart so that someone can post it in the group. Yeah, job got completed. So nothing records has been updated. Okay. And here, the next one is we have to update the insert records. Okay, so just so here this update this particular, the insert one. Okay, so here you can see this one. Okay, so which is the output of CDC main job, right? Click on OK. And here, so here start date. So here for the new records, there won't be any start date column. It won't come from source. So we have to derive it at the intermediate level. Okay. So here start date, I am passing it as a current date. And end date I am setting as a double quotes. This is the okay. So 9999 hyphen 12 hyphen so 99 December 31st. I am passing the date as a hard coded value. And record indicator I am setting is to 1. 1 means for active. Okay. Start date, current date I have used. So how to use current date? Earlier exercise I have shown. Okay. So these are the columns in a table. Now click on OK. Click on OK. Let's see the target here. So choose the insert. Append. We have to use the append. Okay. So don't use truncate. Truncate if you means existing data will be deleted. Okay. I have used append here. Now click on OK. Save, compile and run this job. Okay. $68. So job got completed, right? Now let's see the data. Select. See here. Data got loaded. Okay, so here for this records, start date is today. Okay, so here let's update the start date as starting of this year, January 1st. So how to do that? Update statement. STRT. STRT. Start date. Two zero two four 0101. See, it has been updated. Starting with the starting of this year. Okay. Let's write a SQL statement. So this is the statement. Okay. So this also I will share it with you. So this DMLs also share it in the group. The grant permissions. Okay. Someone can share it in the group. Yeah, right. So now some changes happen. Okay, so here we have a source file after this one, right? So if you see here, the location has been changed. Location for few records has been changed. Select star from this table, order by. Order by. Okay. So here the location has been changed for, if you see here, 11, Singapore. Now what is in the new phone after record? What we are getting New York? So here location change 22. Location change from Melbourne to Dallas. Third person, Sydney to Germany. Okay. And the fourth person entry is not coming. So that will be in the system as it is. Okay. And fifth one, no change in the data. Okay. So first three will change and remaining last four will be considered as a which record? New records. So these are update records. These are new records. Okay. So now what we will do, we will run this entire process again. And in the first job, what we will change? We will change the file. Okay. So earlier we used before CDC, now we use after CDC this file. Okay. So click on OK and run this job now. Save, compile, and run this job. Okay. So here three records I update, I told you, right? So all those three records went to update file. Okay. And that update records and four new records. 3 plus 4, 7 records went to another file. Okay, so you can see in the output. 11, 20 to 33 are the update records. Okay. And if you see the insert here, updates with the new location. Okay, and 4 insert records, total 7 records. Okay, so then which job I need to run? So here we have identified the entries and which job I need to run here after separating the data. Yeah, come on guys, you have to answer. Which job you need to run? So as I told you, we have to do the absolute for the existing records. For that, what we need to do?
First job we need to run.
First job in the sense, which one?
Uh, that insert record.
Huh?
Insert record.
Insert records. Why insert records?
Because here is updated. Again, if we run that insert record, that data will change. And again, if we run that record, the insert and update will be updated. Some change, we will get some changes.
First we have to identify the records which are of update and insert. Okay. So once you after that, after separating the records, then we have to run the update. That's what I'm saying. So here, let's run this. Okay. So here data got updated. Now let's execute the query here. What's happening? See here, 3 records. The end date has been closed. See, as with yesterday's date. Earlier it was future date, right? Double line, double line. Okay. So did you observe that, guys? The data has been updated here. Correct? Correct or not? And also record indicator, earlier it was 1, now it is 0. Okay. Now we have to insert the records. Now go here. And so you know this mapping earlier, just now in the previous scenario I have explained here. So start date will be the current date, end date will be the future text date, and the record indicator will be 1. Now run this job. So at present in our table we have 5 records. Okay. So when you execute this insert statement, I mean insert job. Now let's see what happens. How many records will be increased? See, seven records got inserted. Now let's execute the query. See, total 12 records now. Earlier 5, 7 plus 5. Okay. So this is the way to maintain SCD type 2 dimension tables. Okay. Yeah. So any questions, guys, here? Any questions? Any doubts? Okay. I hope you understand. Now let's. So without CDC, can we implement SCD type 2? Okay. So here the job design may slight change here. Instead of CDC, let's use join. Okay. So sometimes an interviewer asks, without CDC, can you implement SCD type 2 without CDC stage? Yes, we can implement that. Okay. SCD type 2 without CDC. So here let's use join. Okay, so here we have to do the data comparison. Okay, so let's use join. So driving table will be the this one source data, and here you have to use a flag actually. Okay, so here I think the start date, end date, and all here not at all required actually. So you can enter a new column that is CDC flag. College. Care. Okay. Customer ID, customer name, location. So C have given as a CDC flag, CDC FLAG. Okay. So what are the existing records? It is giving, we are passing an indicator. Click on OK. Click on OK. So now let's double click on join. So what is the key column here? Customer ID, customer name are the key columns. Okay. And driving table will be always left outer join table, I mean after data. Okay. So driving table will be source. Okay. So use you should use left outer join. And see here, I use left outer join after source. Okay. Now let's go to the output. So you can remove this change code, which is not needed. and bring this CDC flag and match the columns, auto match. Okay. So if any new records comes, okay, if any new records comes, so that will be CDC flag will be blank. Whenever it is a blank, all the records should go here. Okay, so if it is a modified record, uh, it has to go to both both the scenarios we have to consider. Okay, so now we have to, now here we can remove this change, this one, which is not needed. Okay, so here we have to consider the codes. Okay, we have to derive the codes. So here we have to create the stage variable. Okay, so go to stage variable, SV, C, D, stage variable, CDC. One. Okay, click on OK. So here you have to write if then else logic. If input column CDC flag is null, go to functions and null handling is null. Okay, so is that input column CDC flag is null. So if it is null, then consider as I insert. Okay, and else if you have to you have to evaluate this one also, right? And this one is not null. Okay. Input column same is not null. Not null we have to consider is not null. The input column. What is the input column? CDC flag is not null. Okay, is not null. If it is not null means then we have to evaluate some this thing. Okay, so there might be copy records also will come. So in that case, what we can do, we have to do the comparison. If okay, so column custody should equal custody, both the custodies. Custody okay, so before that we need to do some additional task here. So this is the column coming from source. If I want columns from
So the flag is showing, first of all, you use a scene also. So for insert and update on this.
Yeah, so here we have to compare the records. Customer ID in this has to be compared. And then it has to be separated. Okay. So what I will do, well, let's discuss tomorrow. Okay. So I will design the job and I will explain the logic tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So if you have any questions, so practice what we have discussed so far. Okay. And let's discuss SCD type 3 tomorrow, and this without CDC, how we can implement SCD type 2.